In this video, I'll be walking you through how to use the residential input form. It's important to note that while there are differences in the input form across property types, the concepts I'll show you in this video can be used to complete any CVR MLS input form. To get started, go to the input page of Matrix. Click Add New, then select the property type you'll be entering. For today, we're using the residential input form. On the next screen, you have the following options: fill from tax to populate fields based on public record data, copy listing information from a listing you previously entered, or start a new listing with a completely blank input form. For our example, we will fill from the tax record. Enter the parcel ID and click Fill From. If you do not know the PID, use the search fields below to find the property, then fill the input form by selecting one of your results. Remember not to use the street extensions when searching, as this can make finding results harder. You'll then be taken to the input form where you'll complete the tabs from left to right entering the listing information. The first tab is the status tab. Choose which status you want to enter the listing in. Incomplete status creates a draft version of a listing. At any point, you can submit your listing in the incomplete status to save your progress. Incomplete listings are only visible to you and your broker. The other options are coming soon or active status. Refer to the CVR MLS status cheat sheet to choose the best option for you and your seller. After selecting the appropriate status, click on the Validate button. This highlights required fields in yellow and shows you which required fields have yet to be completed. Next is the Listing Information tab. Here is where you'll start entering the property details and listing information. Since we filled in the listing from the tax record, you see that some of this page has already been completed. If you're unsure about what to put into a field, click on the help bubbles to bring up a description of what information belongs in that field. There are several types of fields that I want to highlight as we fill out this form. Pick lists are the fields that require you to choose from a list of options. It's important to note that some pick lists are connected to other fields. For example, the school options will be determined by what you enter into the county/city field. Date fields require you to enter a date in the format of month, day, and year as shown here. You may also click the calendar icon to open the calendar and select a date. Numerical fields such as the listing price should be entered without commas, dollar signs, or decimals. And text fields allow you to type freely up to the character limit. As a reminder, the square footage public record field is for reference. You'll need to make sure that the other square footage fields are filled in correctly in order for the system to calculate total finished area. Total finished area is our default square footage field on listing displays and syndication. Mapping your listing is required so that the locations can be found using the map search. You can enter the listing coordinates if you have them, or you can click Get Latitude Longitude from Address once the address has been entered. If the pin is placed incorrectly, you can click Set Latitude Longitude manually to click and drag the pin to the proper location. And here you'll see me filling in these fields quickly. If I click Validate again, the input form will recheck to see which required fields are filled out. The next tab is Room Information. You can start by selecting the room type, then enter the room details. You can enter up to 19 rooms by clicking the More button. Note that the room information will be displayed in the order they are entered. Bathroom info requires you to enter information for each level of the property. Select whether there is a tub or a shower or both. Then enter the number of full and half bathrooms on each level. If there is no bathroom on a level, leave the bath description blank and enter 0 and full half baths. Next, you'll complete the required fields on the Features tab. Use help bubbles as needed and be sure to validate before moving on, as some fields on this tab may become required after making your selections. The General Info tab will be completed if you have filled the listing from the tax record. Be sure to review the information before submitting your listing. The Remarks field allows text with a limit of 2,048 characters. What you enter here will be publicly visible. Agent-only comments will only be visible to agents viewing the listing in Matrix. And for now, let's continue filling out the required fields from left to right. When entering the showing instructions, note that LB in showing instructions 2 stands for lockbox. If there is no lockbox on the property, choose no LB. If there is a lockbox, the lockbox type and serial number will be required. Remember to include a 0 before entering the code on the front of your SentryLock lockbox. Under the Virtual Tour tab, you can enter up to 2 links to virtual tours. Note that the videos need to be hosted on a site outside of the MLS. The Internet Display Info tab holds 4 yes or no options. Internet Display set to yes enables third-party sites to display your listing to consumers. Selecting no will remove your listing from syndication to third-party sites. If Internet Display is set to yes, the other fields under this tab become required. Address Display Yes enables sites to display the property address. The comment selection allows comments and reviews. AVM set to yes allows sites to display an estimate of the value of the property. Once you've completed all the required fields, your listing is ready for submission. Remember to double check the listing status, then click Submit Listing. Always remember that you'll have to click Submit Listing and get the Input Succeeded screen to know that your listing has been saved. If you are using the Coming Soon or Active status, your listing is now live and visible to CVR MLS users. At this point, you'll be able to further modify the listing by adding photos and supplements. You can view tutorials on adding listing photos and supplements by watching the videos linked here. If you have any questions that were not answered in this tutorial, contact MLS support by emailing mls@cvrmls.com or by calling 804-422-5004.